Did you know that the tanginess of lacto-fermented vegetables not only makes them taste more delicious, but also makes them safer to eat? Eating lacto-fermented foods is like a system reboot, only for your body instead of your computer. According to Dr. Sandahasta Behera, who's a PhD in biotechnology and engineering, lacto-fermented foods could be an important player in ensuring food security and improving the nutrition and social well-being of millions of people in developing countries. It's one of the oldest and cheapest forms of food technology in preserving food. Today, I am first going to talk about what lacto-fermentation is and how it's made. Second, I'm going to go over some examples. And third, I'm going to talk about how they're beneficial to our health. Fermented foods are not only tasty, but also great for you. So let's get started with what lacto-fermentation is and how it's accomplished. I bet you didn't know that lacto-fermentation is considered a biotechnology. People figured out thousands of years ago that they could preserve food with this method. Lactobacillus bacteria discourages the growth of harmful organisms in order to preserve and transform the raw foods. Lactobacillus is naturally occurring on all plants and lives in and on the human body. Joaquin Batista Gallego, a food microbiologist with more than 13 years of experience with fermented food and probiotics, and a lecturer at the University of Extremadura in Spain, noted that the first reference of lacto-fermented vegetables was found in China during the construction of the Great Wall in 3rd century BC. That's over 2,000 years ago. Lacto-fermentation is easy and you can do it right at home. I have here the materials that you would need for lacto-fermentation. You would need a jar or some kind of container, an airlock that will help keep air out but allow gases to escape, and you'll need a fermentation weight to hold whatever you're fermenting in the brine. So that brings me to the next thing that you'll need, which is a brine of salt and water and some kind of vegetable or fruit. And you'll put all of those in the jar and let them sit for 7 to 10 days. The lactic acid breaks down the sugars into simple sugars. And the good bacteria, lactobacillus, grows, and the no salt and no oxygen environment created with the airlock makes sure the bad bacteria doesn't grow. Lactic acid is created, which is acidic, and this makes the environment safe and creates the sour or tangy flavors of pickled foods. But before you run out to the grocery store and buy some pickles for their health benefits, I'd like you to know that they're actually made with vinegar. This is because they're easy to make, they produce a predictable product, and can be mass produced. And we all know that consumers like their products to be uniform. So unfortunately, this means that a lot of the health benefits are lost. So I went over how they're made. Let's talk about some examples. If you'll refer to the photo that I've posted, you can see that there are carrots, asparagus, and you'll also see sauerkraut, which is shredded cabbage. You can really come up with any kind of combination of vegetables that you'd like, or sometimes even fruits. Another example would be yogurt, and there are some meats that are lacto-fermented. There's an Italian sausage that's made, but they also add nitrates to make it safer. And then there's also recipes for lacto-fermented fish in some cultures. Wilhelm Hupsifel, a former vice president of the South African Society for Microbiology and professor of the Federal Research Center for Nutrition in Karlsruhe, Germany since 1987, said that the manufacturing of fermented products has been handed down from generation to generation with local communities, and the products produced are used in or around the immediate area. Milk, meat, cucumbers, and cabbage are the main ingredients used in these fermented food products. So now that you know what kinds of food I'm talking about, I'm going to tell you how they can be beneficial to your health. So lacto-fermentation can be beneficial because it contributes to food preservation. This makes food last longer and provides food security in developing countries so they can grow crops and preserve the foods for later in the year. It also improves digestibility by making probiotics available, Probiotics influence the development and function of the immune system and helps keep the balance between the beneficial and the harmful microbes in your body. It also helps increase dietary value because it increases the absorbability of the vitamins and minerals and produces enzymes that help break down the foods and makes vitamins more available. Krista Voidro, who's a director of public health in Greece and worked in the Department of Agriculture at the University of Ioannina in Greece, and her colleagues conducted a study on the effects of fermentation on the body, and they focused on oral health. They found that probiotics in fermented foods can reduce cavities because the probiotics actually decrease the pH in the mouth. So the lactobacillus bacteria converts sugars into lactic acid, so plaque and bacteria and calculus can't form on your teeth. It also can help reduce bad breath because the probiotics can fixate on the toxic gases in your mouth and turn them into gases that are needed for metabolism. Your body is just begging you to try lacto-fermented foods. So today I went over how important lacto-fermented foods are for your health. I'd like to summarize on what we've learned today. Lacto-fermentation is the use of lactobacillus bacteria to preserve and transform raw foods. This is done by brining the ingredients in a zero oxygen environment and letting it sit for several days so the lactobacillus bacteria can grow. Types of fermented foods can include sauerkraut, pickles or cucumbers, carrots, any kind of combination you can think of. Lacto-fermentation is beneficial because it preserves foods, increasing shelf life, increases food security in developing countries, and the process actually makes nutrients more easily absorbed by your body. So fermented foods are not only tasty, but they're great for you. And to conclude my speech, I hope that you've learned that lacto-fermented pickles are not only a tasty addition to your sandwich, but they're also very good for you.